Thank you all for coming. Good Friday afternoon and happy Valentine's Day. So as I told graduate students, don't forget to buy gift present to someone you are supposed to give. Just do it. You can live early. Okay, we are so glad to have Dr. Zeng and to be here to talk about technology. So Dr. Zeng currently is a postdoc fellow with Dr. Laura Bello and in the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition right now. So let me see. Yeah, I got to know him by reading his research before he come here. But the first time physically I met him is back in summer of 2018 when Dr. Bellows took him to my office. Thank you, Laura. So yeah, after that we had a few conversation, and also I invited him to my Center for class to talk about technology as a guest speaker last year. So Dr. Zeng got his bachelor degree in physical education and master's degree in exercise science, both from Chengdu Sport University in China. Chengdu is a city, probably you don't know it, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows panda. So Chengdu has the biggest in the world, the panda beds. There are over 500 pandas over there. So that's a place you don't want to miss if you have a chance to visit China, Chengdu. Okay. So after that, he got his PhD degree in physical activity and health from the School of Kinesiology of University of Minnesota Twin Cities, right? I got tons of research experience in physical activity research, and I got a broad research interest, including physical activity and health disparity, measurement of physical activity, and the promotion of physical activity and nutrition among underserved population using emerging technology, which is going to mainly talk about today. So she has been involved a lot of good research, in addition to the two big giant projects with Dr. Fellows and LEAP and HEROES, and also he has been very actively involved in several other federal funded projects. So let me see. Dr. Zeng is very scholarly productive. He presents papers at more than 20 national conference. He published 25 peer-reviewed articles since 2016. So last year he published 13 papers in 1 year. So very productive. So I think it's very tremendous achievement for someone who's still in very early academic career. So, all right, with that, please join me with Dr. Zeng's talk and to learn the double-edged sword. Technology, good, bad. So let's get some answer after his talk. Okay.
So first of all, thank you so much for Dr. Lee's introduction, and thank you so much everyone coming here today. I know today is a special day, Valentine's Day, so if you have to leave early, go ahead. And let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about technology in physical activity and health promotion. I'm a postdoc fellow at Health Behaviors Lab in the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition under Dr. Laura Bellows. So here's the agenda about today. So first I'm going to talk about a little bit about myself and my research. I'm going to talk about my research focus and what I did for the past and what I'm doing right now and my future research agenda as well. The first, my background. Like Dr. Lee said, I got my bachelor degree in physical education back in China at Chengdu Sport University. Right after my graduation, I got a job at a college was Chujin Normal University. I was an assistant professor of physical education. I taught a lot of physical education class, such as soccer and dance and even swing. Right after, I went back to Center Sport University, got my bachelor in exercise science, and later after, I came to the U.S. for my PhD at University of Minnesota. So since I have been working with preschool children, I have a special interest in young population. After that, I interviewed with Dr. Laura Bellows because she right now has a USDA-funded project working with preschool children. I have special interest in preschool children, so I came here. And another reason is I want to expand my skill set into nutrition and the diet behaviors to pair with my exercise expertise. So I came here to work with preschool children, underserved preschool children. So this is about me. So broadly, my research focuses on designing and disseminating evidence-based behavior interventions to promote health behaviors among low-income, disadvantaged, and underserved populations. So I conducted two lines of inquiry. So the first line, I use emergent technology such as active gaming, virtual reality, and fitness band, and of course, mobile health to intervene health behaviors, including physical activity, motor skills, and right now is nutrition and eating behaviors as well. And second line, I identify the determinants and correlates of health behaviors and use this kind of information to design and evaluate the behavior change programs. So today I'm going to focus on my first line of research, which use different technology to intervene health behaviors of non-various populations, from preschool children, college students, and breast cancer survivors. And I focus on 4 different technologies. Fitness trackers, which is fitness band, and active gaming, aka active video games, and virtual reality. And last one is that we are working right now. We developed 4 apps for our HERO study to intervene children's physical activity and eating behaviors. So before I get started, I have 2 questions for you. So think about technology in everyday life. How many technology do you use in everyday life? Does anyone use cell phone? Yes. Laptop? Fitness trackers? Not so many. Okay. So how does the technology impact your daily life? Positive and negative. Maybe like this, right? So technology brings you back to millions of years ago. So make you like less physically active, you have short attention spans, you got more obese, and which associate a lot of chronic diseases, diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular diseases. How about if you use the technology properly, which can bring the active lifestyle, right? If you use technology properly, use a fitness tracker to track your health behaviors, heart rate, step taken, and even calorie burnt every single day, which helps you manage your life more physically active. So today I'm going to focus, as I mentioned, 4 different technologies. So first is active gaming. In case you don't know this is also called active video games. How many of you played the Xbox before? Probably 10%. Okay. So this is an NIH-funded project. I did this when I was in Minnesota. I was research coordinator for this study. So this study, we are trying to use the emerging technology, X gaming, to intervene preschool children's physical activity, motor skills, and perceived confidence. So this is a 10 weeks intervention study. So research design. So this is a 2-hour experimental design with pre-test and post-test. So this is a non-randomized trial, and we recruit 65 participants from 2 urban underserved elementary schools in Minneapolis. And we separate 2 schools, one served as intervention, another one served as comparison. So the intervention group was delivered the daily 30 minutes active gaming program over the course of 8 weeks, whereas the comparison group, they are required to maintain their normal active patterns during school time. So we measured pre-test and post-test 2 type points. MVPA by the accelerometers and the motor skills by the TGFD2. And we also evaluate children's perceived confidence by Harder. 3 measurements and 3 outcomes. So here the intervention. When I was in Minnesota, as I said, I was research coordinator and the intervention delivered. So I went to the elementary school every single day for 8 weeks. And every day is 30 minutes. I deliver this kind of information. We had kids to play different So this is a table tennis. We prepare more than 10 games. So this is a wrestling game. We have to pretend you bike, but you have to shake your hands, pretend you are biking. And this is a just dance. We have small group and large group. And there's trampoline. Yeah, they are so cute. And the last one, the group dance. Oh, sorry, I cannot play this. Let's reset. That's fine. So this is our intervention. We deliver 30 minutes after gaming intervention every single day from Monday to Friday over the course of 8 weeks. Here are the results. And like I said, we measured MVPA and motor skills and the perceived confidence, and we find MVPA got significantly improved after 8 weeks of intervention. So the A is we compare the whole group, intervention group, and the control group. And the B, we separate the gender. B represents boy. And as you can see, the boy in intervention group got significantly improved their MVPA versus control group. And the girls, the same thing, the same trend observed in girls. So the girl in intervention group got significantly improved their moderate to vigorous activity after 8 weeks of intervention. So unfortunately, we did not find any significant improvements in motor skills and perceived confidence. So our intervention program shows that a positive effect in promoting preschool children's MVPA at school, and the extra gaming has a potential to enhance perceived confidence as well as motor skill confidence. And however, the more research with larger sample sizes are needed. Because this is a first study using active video games, working with preschool aged children. So because we conducted so many active gaming studies, either we work with high school students or college students, but never done with preschool children. And right now, we just use the different games, which are called the Leap TV. And like you can see right here, So this is a little bit different from the active video games. So this kind of video games, which requires students, when you work with preschool children as well, require preschool children to be physically active while do some math, like counting and learning some vocabularies, counting like 2 minus 1 or 2 plus 3 is equal to things like that, or playing while learning some vocabularies or doing some math. And we measure the children's cognition as primary outcome for the study. This is what we are doing right now back in Minnesota. So the first technology I talk is exogaming. So second, we talk about the virtual reality. So how many of you use the virtual reality before? Like with the healthy population or special population? All right, so let me talk about this. So this study, we're trying to use commercially available virtual reality exercise equipment, which is a Zoom, which is released in 2016. So this is the first study using the commercially available virtual reality into healthy population. We're trying to use the virtual reality to promote college students' physical activity levels. So this is an exploratory study. This is just an exploratory study, just within subject. Repeat design. We recruited 12 college students, healthy college students from University of Minnesota. We have the participants to complete 2 20-minute exercise sessions separately, one on Zoom, virtual reality exercise bike, and another one is traditional sedentary exercise bike. And to ensure these two conditions are comparable, we set the pedal resistance at the same level, which is equal to the heart rate between 65 to 85 of age predicted maximal heart rate. And we measured RPE, which is reading of perceived exertion, every 4 minutes over the course of 20 minutes for each session. And we measured the self-efficacy, enjoyment using Likert scale right after the 20-minute session exercise. And the blood pressure at the baseline before and post-op right after the exercise as well. Here's, in order to avoid the carryover effect, we counterbalance the order, either Zoom exercise, virtual reality bike, or the traditional sedentary bike. So here's how virtual reality exercise bike looks like. Okay, I cannot wait this, but you have to lean left and right to control the direction, and you have to pedal to control your speed. You have to keep pedaling in order to speed up, to compete the person online, so from everywhere. So as you can see, we just did the simple t-test. We compare before and after between 2 exercise sessions, and we at the same exercise resistance levels, we find the participants in virtual reality exercise session reported lower RPE, which means the participant felt less intense versus compared to the traditional sedentary bike. And a participant in virtual reality bike also reported higher enjoyment and higher self-efficacy compared to the traditional exercise session. And we conclude that the commercially available virtual reality-based exercise, which is over Zoom, seems to be an effective, enjoyable, and motivating physical activity tool for college students potentially acting on tour health professionals can use to promote physical activity participation among various populations. And the results, however, have to be confirmed in future larger trials to determine the appropriate application of this kind of technology in physical activity promotion. It's actually a study where we recruited 14 participants at the beginning, but however, 2 college students, they drop out because of motion sickness. They felt easy when they play with virtual reality. So there's a kind of shortage of virtual reality. So more studies are needed, and more health outcomes also need to be measured, such as physical activity levels during different exercise sessions. Right now, back in Minnesota, we extend 2 exercise conditions to 4 conditions. We have 1 traditional sedentary bike, 1 immersive virtual reality, which is for Zoom, and 2 non-immersive virtual reality. So we compare 4 different conditions. I hope this can play. I don't know how. I tested this before. So the third one, which is fitness trackers, fitness band, we collaborate with Chinese researchers, and they're from the Guangdong General People's Hospital. We're working with breast cancer survivors. For this study, we use the Mi Band, which is wearable fitness band, and we use the WeChat as a platform to deliver our information. So the Chinese WeChat is like Americans, like a Twitter or Snapchat. We create a group chat for breast cancer survivors, and we develop different tailored exercise prescription, and we deliver this kind of intervention by the WeChat. Everything is online. So here's the design. So they reached out to us 3 years ago, and led us to design some exercise intervention for them. And at the very beginning, we had a very good research design. We're supposed to get a control group. However, somehow, our collaborators back in China, they only include 1 single group, and they didn't include the control, which kind of ruined this analysis. But I want you to focus on the intervention design right here. So at the beginning, this is a single group pretest design, and we recruited 50 breast cancer survivors from southern region of China. So breast cancer survivors were provided with fitness band to monitor their activity behaviors over the course of a year, which is 12 months. And the activity data, their stats, were collected by the Mi Band for the past months, and then manually uploaded to an online server and received by the research staff at the end of each month. Late after we deliver the personalized exercise prescriptions based on the steps taken from that last month to have them to do for the next month. And during the course of 12 months, the breast cancer survivors were asked not to change their usual diet and were required to implement their own exercise prescriptions weekly and wear the fitness band to track their activity patterns, which is steps. And we measured the biomarkers and functional fitness as outcomes. So here's the intervention design. So we delivered intervention. So first of all, we categorize their steps as 3. So each category has 12 levels of different levels. For example, if your daily step taken less than 8,000, so you should be categorized as 1. So as I highlight as red, if your steps is 8,000 to 8,399 steps per day, and you should be categorized as category 2, and the level 2 and 1. So for different levels, we design different specific exercise prescription. For example, this person took 8,001 steps. So she or he should be level 2, and we deliver the specific exercise prescription for this person. So for example, day 1, you should do some combination of strength and cardio, and day 2, you can only focus on cardio, and day 3, you can only focus on strength, and day 4, you can do the combination of strength and cardio. So this is so all the exercise prescriptions are guided by the SSM, prescription exercise prescriptions for breast cancer survivors. So we deliver this kind of tailored exercise prescription based on their steps taken. Here are the results. At the month of 12, we have 17 participants drop out. Because this study, we did not provide any incentive. So every participant, they are just voluntarily participate. So some participants, we either lost of their contract or they just drop out and we cannot reach out. And because we lose the contact, we cannot reach out again. So we use the dynamics model to count the dropout rate to see the effects of this kind of innovative interventions. As you can see, so we got one biomarker which is glucose got significantly improved, and functional fitness including agility and balance, and aerobic endurance, lower body flexibility, both left and the right, got significantly improved after intervention of 12 months. So this finding indicated that the acceptability and the feasibility of this kind of innovative intervention. So this was the first study using the technology and the personalized exercise prescription to work with breast cancer survivors, not just the breast cancer survivors, or there's no previous study using this kind of intervention to work with healthy populations. So this is a very exploratory study. However, because we only include one single group, we didn't include the control group, and our observation didn't suggest any additional benefits on all the biomarkers and the functional. Because, like I said, we did not include any control group, so this kind of just may be effect, just time effect, not because of our intervention. But I want you to focus on more this kind of intervention design, not study design, because obviously our collaborators, they ruined our study design because they didn't include any control group. But this kind of intervention that's really innovative and really effective. For future studies, more randomized control trials are wanted. In the future, I think we can only use just one phone to combine. We can design an app which can tracks your steps or your activity patterns, and it can also deliver your personalized intervention for your personalized exercise prescription, and we just deliver this kind of intervention. Just use one phone and one app. So this is our goal or future study, which is app health. It's really hot topic right now. So the fourth technology is mobile apps, which is what I'm currently doing right now. So this is the USDA funded project. Is called HERO Studies, the Healthy Environments Study. So the overall goal of the HEROes is to develop a technology-based interactive family interventions to promote healthy lifestyles for young children in family settings. So we're working with preschool children from rural Colorado. They live in low-income and limited resources settings, and we focused on their eating behaviors and their physical literacy, which includes activity levels and motor skills as well. And of course, we also focus on the mindful parenting practice to enhance parent-child interaction during active play. So this is the overall goal of our HERO study. So since this is a 5-year grant, so we have 3 project phases. The first is formative research, and second, intervention design, and third, right now we're currently doing is intervention test. So our formative research, we did some qualitative study. We're asking parents about their perspective about using mobile devices at home with their preschool children. We got some informative information, got some very positive feedback from parents, which allow us to use modern technology to deliver our interventions. Because for the people who live with limited physical activity and nutrition resources, they do not have many physical activity equipment around or in the neighborhood. However, we cannot just buy the equipment for them, which is really expensive and not doable. So we had to find a way to deliver our intervention to help them live healthy. So we designed the apps which can be used at home when there's no many or there's limited physical activity resources around. So we design different apps to intervene their nutrition, diet behaviors, and physical activity as well. So here are the intervention components. We are testing different components of intervention. So they include the parenting workshops, and we have 6 mindful parenting workshops focusing on children's eating behaviors, their physical literacy, which includes physical activity and motor skills. So motor skills is just like jump, run, leap, some basic skills that how do you use the big muscles to move. And the second, we have 2 workshops plus 4 health coaching sessions focused on maternal behaviors and stress management, healthy eating, and physical activity as well. And we also conducting child workshops. During the child workshops, we have so many activities for kids, such as eating activities and story time, and we have them to play with iPads and some skill buildings. We teach them how to move like animals, and we do some physical education like building obstacle course and some skill development. We teach them how to jump, how to run, how to leap, how to hit, and etc. So we also, like I mentioned, we also use technology to develop, to deliver our intervention. So this is the technology piece that I want to focus today. We use one website, a Sports Family, and 4 apps. that we use to intervene children's nutrition and diet behaviors and their motor skills and physical activity as well. So the first is sports website. We designed a website which covers your eating, your movement, eating behaviors, how to eat healthy, and your move, and what is motor skills. Because based on our qualitative study, and most of parents, they do not know what is motor skills look like. Because most of parents, they don't know the importance of motor skills for children's physical activity development. So they don't know how to teach them a jump, leap, or gallop, things like that. So we provide some knowledge for them to look over. And we'll also teach them how to play if there's limited resources available. How do you create a physically active environment for your kids to like play at home? And of course, the girls, once we focus on nutrition and physical activity, so children should be, girls can like healthy trained, which focus on their BMI. Here are the 4 apps. So we have one app, which is this one, the Tasting Party Express, targets children's nutrition and adult behaviors. So this app trying to teach kids some vocabulary, food-related vocabularies such as crunchy, delicious, salty, and we help kids learn some vocabularies and trying to enhance their willingness to try new foods. Because most of the kids, they don't like cauliflower, so we just keep saying cauliflowers. If you like cauliflowers, we keep feeding them, and probably they got more familiar with cauliflower. So the other 3, the Jungle Gym 1, Jungle Gym 2, and Spin and Move, they all target children's movement skills. We teach kids how to run, how to jump, how to move like animals, different animals, like can you gallop like horse, can you jump like frog, can you balance like flamingo, can you fly like butterfly, things like that. Really simple and easy, and children, they love it so much. Here's the most, I hope this can be cool. Excuse me, let me do this thing, please. I just tested, can be great, right?
Take your time, you're good.
Yeah.
You just tested it before the talk.
There you go.
Okay.
So this is a spin and move.
Hello, friends. We're going to play a game where we move our bodies. Before we play, you need to have a clean space. Pick up and put away your toys and books by your feet. Choose a game when you're ready.
Just a spinning. So you can just spin.
Flap your wings like a butterfly. Flap.
Next is jungle gym. We do some adventure in the jungle.
Big steps away from your iPad.
Climb this tree to see where the rhinos are.
We did some different movement skills. Okay, very
Climb
basic.
up the tree. Climb up. Use your binoculars to see far away. I see the rhinos. Watch your steps as you climb down the tree slowly. Climb down. Let's creep quietly like a fox. Creep forward. Creep forward quietly. Pick your characters and then drag foods to them.
Soggy,
Salty.
sweet,
Juicy.
ripe,
Tasty.
crispy,
Things like that.
Delicious.
And we're trying to teach kids some food-related vocabularies and enhance their willingness to try new food. And before we intervene, not just before we intervene, we tested 3 different movement apps, which is first is Spin and Move, second Jungle Gym 1, Jungle Gym 2. We compare these 3 different apps with traditional PE. One is outdoor course, another one is steel buildings. We compare if they spend the equivalent MBPA when they play with different apps. So interestingly, we find that preschool children spend most of their MBPA in motor skills building, which I taught them how to move like different animals, which 84% of their time spending MBPA, followed by our mobile app, which is incredibly high, which is 81%, and followed by the optical course. Optical course just about 60% of that time spending MBPA. So based on our data, we can see that our apps can trigger the equivalent MBPA compared with the traditional PE optical course or skill buildings, which means we can use this kind of apps at home to promote children's physical activity level. Because most of that, they spend more than 81% of their time in MBPA while playing these different mobile apps. So this is about the technology piece of our hero studies. We developed 1 website and 4 different apps targeting children's nutrition, their behaviors, and physical activity as well. So here's the last one, also funded by the USDA. This is the subject from our background heroes. Since we designed the apps, we are trying to understand parent-child interaction during different active play. We have participants to play with different tours. First is, because I have expertise in X gaming, so we have them to play. First is X gaming, which is just dance for kids. And second, we provide different tours like the tunnel, the beanbags, and the mat, and hula hoop, and they can pick whatever they want and pretend they play at home. And we videotape their parent-child interaction during different app play. The third play is the app that we just designed, which is Jungle Gym. We're trying to understand the difference in parent-child interactions among these 3 conditions. And we're also interested in how moms and fathers interact differently with their kids, with the goal to design the intervention to promote parent-child interactions for future activity intervention studies. So as you can see, we have 3 different conditions. This is a normal play. They pick whatever they want, and we have 2 goalposts, one over here and one's right up here. And we videotape their parent-child interactions, and we try to code their interactions and try to quantify their parent-child interaction during different play. So that one is they play with Just Dance Kids, and this they play with the app that we developed on the tablet. Alright, today I just covered the different technologies that I used to intervene health behaviors. And like I said, emerging technology plays a very complex role in sedentary behavior, very much like a double-edged sword. Some emerging technology, such as sedentary video games or computer games, are contributed to epidemic of sedentary behavior and make you less physically active. And however, other emerging technology, such as active video games, fitness bands, and even virtual reality and mobile apps, can be used to promote physical activity in the house. And since this is a very infant field using technology to promote physical activity in the house, so there has been a lack of large and long-term experiment and clinical trials, which means a lot of opportunities for researchers like us to explore more how to properly use the technology to promote children who are healthy or even different populations physical activity in the house. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Virtual reality can cause motion sickness, so you have to do a lot of research to test the best use of this kind of emerging technology. So this is a very important point. Some well-functioning applications are now designed by computer scientists. Well, they ignore the needs of clients, which can lead to the little or no intervention impact. So I think for future researchers like us can collaborate with more people from industry, the computer scientists, or engineers to develop the more appropriate apps or different technology-based equipment to help people properly use this kind of emerging technology. All right, thank you so much for being here and having me here, and happy Valentine's Day.
Questions?
I have one. In your last study, in the HERO study, as it relates to the parent-child interaction, were the videos, do they have enough content in them to help the parents know what to and how to interact? I just saw the one father looked like he was modeling something, but
We just,
do you know what I mean? And so, in trying to, you're interested in the social interactions, I assume,
yeah.
but I'm wondering about nesting key prompts that would help the children learn how to use it, particularly when they have the balls in the tunnel and whatever to use that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, because before we tested, we taught parents how to use this kind of technology.
You did teach them?
Yeah, I did, and we tell them just pretend like a normal. Don't pretend you interact way too much with your kid, just pretend at home like a normal. How do you interact at home? Then probably, however, because they know they are videotaped, so probably sometimes it's pretend they are really interact with their kids. This can be kind of limitation for this study. But this is the first study exploring how parent-child interaction during active play.
Yeah,
So
I was
which
just
is
thinking
really-
of prompting the parents with the cues that might be helpful to teach the children how to use or do the activity appropriately.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else?
Do you have a plan for the long-term sustainability of this app? Because I know a lot of times, like, you play the game, you get active, and then all of a sudden it seems to be a fad. Do you have a plan to keep this going and making sure that kids are still using it?
Yeah, we have, since with our app, that's why we have 3 different apps, because sometimes if you just keep kids playing the same app, probably they get fatigued or they get tired of it. So we have different, but for sure, probably in the future we develop more, right? To increase their interest about mobile apps.
I thought the virtual reality cycling was really cool, and I know it's becoming more popular privately, like people can purchase a bike that has that sort of capabilities, but for those that don't have the finances for that, where do you see that fitting into the community, and how would you take advantage of that?
Yeah, this is just, like I said, it's just an exploratory study. We're trying to define the feasibility of this kind of technology to promote physical activity. And yeah, I can show because like I said, we added more conditions because this one cannot be, wait, oh, this one. So we have 4 different conditions. This one is non-immersive, traditional, immersive, and non-immersive. So we compare 2 different to test which one is the best of both to provide your activity or increase your activity, enjoyment, and self-efficacy with the goal of promoting physical activity levels. That's it.
So are they all working at the same exercise intensity there, like producing the same watts? Because I could see improved self-efficacy and lower RPE also.
Yeah, which increase, right? So in order to make these different conditions comparable, we set the paddling resisted at the same level. So in order at the same level to make sure these conditions are comparable. However, even though this is kind of a limitation, even though we set at the same paddling resistant, there's some people, if they play with virtual reality, immersive, because they're competing online with others, they'll just keep paddling faster than traditional. But on the other hand, which means this one can increase, the virtual reality, immersive virtual reality can really increase your activity levels compared to the traditional one. Anyone else?
Yes. So for all for studies, you see the effects more or less. Basically, as my understanding, most of them are short-term effects. You did mention in your summary that more RCT or long-term study need to be done to see long-term effects. So what do you envision how technology, those devices, whatever, can influence people's, especially kids, for the new things that play for weeks, then they lost interest. So how do you think those technology may influence people's not only knowledge, but also more importantly influence the beliefs, even attitudes, then eventually modify or change their habits, which can lead to long-term effects, systemic effects. So yeah, what do you?
Yeah, like I said, we need more long-term and RCT studies to test the long-term behavior change, because this is the very beginning of the intervention stage, and we just tested the feasibility and the accessibility of use this kind of emerging technology to intervene behavior changes. So, but I think, like I mentioned, we need more mobile apps that include different components which can keep not just only kids, about adult populations. to keep and attract them to keep using this kind of technology. Because I have been using fitness band, but after 2 or 3 months, I lost the interest, which is this kind of limitation for the emerging technology. Because I have been physically active, because I don't think I really need this kind of technology. But for the population live with underserved population, they really want this kind of technology to increase their physical activity interest, or there to intervene the behavior change. Yeah.
Do you allow them to keep the device? I mean the
Picture.
What's it, the devices? What device you lend them to use? The
Okay.
iPad.
Yeah.
Are they at the end of the study? So are they gonna keep them or?
No. We're not giving just as a gift. We got the iPad back, because we developed 4 apps, and we delivered intervention with iPad. We provide iPad, allow them to play at home, and at the end of the intervention, we got the iPad back.
And we're
No.
giving them the iPads
We're giving them the iPads
for that exact reason, so there's sustainability.
for as incentive.
It's just part of the intervention because we're doing a 4-month follow-up, so we want them to continue using the device.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of 4 months, we got.
They can keep the iPad.
Oh.
Question.
I don't want
Sorry,
that.
I don't
Hi, in your speak, I think you use different kinds to make the children interested in activities. But when the method the activities is the difference in your experiment, and whether it's a difference with the traditional method and your technology method, where is the difference?
You mean what the difference
Yeah.
between the technology and the traditional physical activity?
I think the technology method is make the activities to children more interested. For example, radio and something. The method of the physical activity, where is the difference?
I think because we work with the low-income families, they have limited physical activity resources at home or around the neighborhood. That's why we create different innovative approaches for them to promote their activity levels, because they don't have the exercise or the gym around home or in the neighborhood. So they cannot go out and run, go to the gym and do exercise. So we design the apps for them can be used at home. So this kind of innovative approach, which is differentiated from traditional ones, because they don't have so many resources available. Does that answer your question?
All right. Exactly on time. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Oh, just you want